I really want to thank Ka-Iu and Miles Yoshioka of the Chamber and the whole Chamber for getting me involved with this, because this is an incredibly important topic. For years, we on Hawaii Island have lamented the high cost of electricity. In fact, throughout the state, there's been that lament. Of course, we on Hawaii Island have had the highest electricity rates in the state and really the highest in the country. The bulk of our electric needs on this island are served by HELCO, Hawaii Electric Light Company, which is one of the companies of HEI, Hawaiian Electric Industries. We are already the island with the most renewable energy, about 50%, coming, I believe, from a combination of geothermal, hydro, wind, plus individual solar. Despite this, the rates have stayed high, and people have asked for a change in that, but they've also asked for a change in having more renewable energy, less dependence on imported oil. And that is something that now has also been mandated by our state, that by the year 2045, we get 100% of our electricity from renewable energy. Back on December 3rd, 2014, there was a major announcement. The company NextEra, which is headquartered in Florida, and Hawaiian Electric Industries agreed to combine. The transaction is valued at approximately $4.3 billion. That includes the assumption of $1.7 billion in debt by NextEra, and it also excludes HEI's banking subsidiary, American Savings Bank, which Hawaiian Electric Industries has agreed to divest off, to spin off. But it does include all the electric companies that are owned by HEI, those that serve Oahu, Maui County, and HELCO here on this island. That announcement has caused all kinds of questions and meetings and Public Utility Commission hearings and discussion about what the right course of action is. The shareholders of HEI have approved this sale, but they do not have the final say-so. That final say-so is subject to approval by the State Public Utilities Commission, and they do have sole authority in this matter. There's another possibility being floated on this island, and that is for an electric co-op on this island. Energy cooperatives are not a new idea. They sprang up in the early 1900s when a lot of rural communities wanted electric service, but the big companies that were providing electric service did not want to spend that kind of money in small rural communities where they feared they would not get a return on their investment. Today we have all the players at this table to represent the parties that I've just talked about, and also some other interested parties who can help, we hope, shed light on this matter. Our format today is generally going to be question and answer rather than having them do presentations, because I'm sure by now you've heard some of the presentations. And we've had a lot of questions submitted by you all, by members of the Chamber, and even by members of the public. So I've got questions, and hopefully these folks will give us answers. And we're going to conclude, as I said, at 8 o'clock. Jay, if you could give us a thumbnail of Hawaiian Electric Industries, please. Tell us, what is this company that is wanting to be bought out by NextEra?
Hawaiian Electric Industries actually is a holding company. It's a publicly traded company. It has two major components. One actually is a bank, and that's American Savings. And the other entity is Hawaiian Electric. Hawaiian Electric is the utility that serves Oahu, but Hawaiian Electric also owns Hawaii Electric Light, which serves the Hawaii Island utility, and then it also owns Maui Electric, which serves the islands of Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. In total, there's about 2,800 employees employed by Hawaiian Electric. It serves approximately 400,000 customers in total. Here on Hawaii Island, we have about 82,000 customers.
And how many employees do you have here on this island?
Here on this island, currently we have about 340 employees.
You're not done yet, Jay.
Okay.
The shareholders of Hawaiian Electric Industries have agreed to this purchase, which of course, as I said, must be approved by the State Public Utilities Commission. Why is HEI interested in being purchased by NextEra? Why did your company agree to this offer that was made by NextEra?
We believe partnering with NextEra to accomplish the goals that I think almost every member on this panel has, which is to move our energy utilities to drive rates down, and also to move to this 100% renewable portfolio that we're shooting for. We think partnering with NextEra, sharing in their technology, sharing with the human resources that they have, and also having the financial backing behind it and helping funding all of these projects is a good partnership to move toward that vision.
Thank you. Eric Gleason, you're the president of NextEra Transmission. Give us a thumbnail sketch of NextEra. Help us understand, what is this company that you're part of? What's your mission? Help us get to know your company, please.
So NextEra, like HEI, is a utility holding company. We have two businesses. One, the core of the company, is a utility like HEI. It's Florida Power and Light, one of 55 utilities in the state of Florida. And then the other is a renewable energy company. It's NextEra Energy Resources. A little bit of the history. At Florida Power and Light, we used to burn more oil than any other country, any other company, any other utility in the industry. As recently as 2002, we burned 40 million barrels of oil a year. That compares to Hawaiian Electric burning 9 million barrels of oil a year currently. And we've dropped that down to close to zero. So that's part of our history, doing that while lowering rates for customers. And then on the renewable energy side, it's a business we got into about 20 years ago, started small, and kind of got some experience, had some investments that worked out for us. And so where we are today is we've invested over $20 billion over those 2 decades. We're now in 27 states and several Canadian provinces. And really, the way we see ourselves, we've evolved over the years from being a utility that burns oil to being a clean energy company. So that's our mission.
Did you say that Hawaiian Electric Industries burns more oil than any utility company in the country? Did I hear you say that at one time?
What I said was Florida. Well, you're asking me a great question, so I'm not gonna answer your question exactly.
You're not gonna answer my question?
Well, I'm gonna answer your question, but then I'm gonna answer another question. Okay. So what I said was Florida Power and Light used to burn the most oil in the country of any utility. 40 million barrels of oil a year. We blew everybody else away. The second utility was Hawaiian Electric. They burned, back in those days, they burned about 10 million barrels of oil or so. They've dropped down because people are consuming less electricity, and also because of renewable energy. Okay, but today, Hawaiian Electric burns as much oil for power generation as the rest of our country combined. It's pretty awesome if you like burning oil, right? So that's why this is a big part of why we came to Hawaii, because we saw, starting in 2008 with the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative, and then continuing, under the leadership of Mina Morita at the PUC, we saw that Hawaii was totally committed to a clean energy transformation, harnessing the incredible renewable resources you have here to actually displace oil, get yourself off this dependency, potentially lower rates, improve your security of supply, improve the environment. And we've done both of those things across both sides of our business: reduced oil consumption, invested in renewable energy. So that's what excited us about coming here, when we first started coming here about 5 years ago.
You've answered my next question.
Perfect.
Why do you want Hawaiian Electric Industries? Is there anything else you want to say about that?
As I've explained, it fits well with sort of our mission. And the other piece of it is we see that in order for Hawaii to achieve its objectives, which today have been extended to 100% renewable energy by 2045, and more affordable energy at the same time, right? That's important. In order to do that, there's going to have to be a tremendous investment of capital. Okay, it's going to take literally tens of billions of dollars of capital invested in Hawaii over the next 30 years. A lot of it from the utility, but also from customers, from rooftop solar companies, from independent power producers, a tremendous amount of capital. Because if you think about it, what renewable energy is, from a financial point of view, is substituting capital in order to have a resource that's free. Once you've invested the capital, the resource is free, in return for paying every year, you know, producers in the Middle East and Asia, wherever, for their oil. So that's from a financial point of view what this is about. And we're in the business of investing long-term in infrastructure assets and clean energy assets. So that's the financial rationale, but the strategic rationale is really, this is ground zero in our country and maybe globally for clean energy transformation, and that really gets us excited.
A question that relates specifically to Hawaii Island. I think most of you know that Hawaii Island as a place to have an electric utility is probably less attractive than some other places. Oahu has a very dense population and a big, you know, there's more than 1 million people on Oahu. We have a very spread out population. Our facilities are far apart. I think it's hard to serve, and in fact our rates here sort of on this island reflect that. So why does NextEra specifically want to include Hawaii Island in this purchase?
So first, Sherry, I don't agree with your premise.
Okay.
I don't think that from a utilities perspective that somehow you know, Hawaii Island is a less attractive place to be a utility than Oahu or Maui or somewhere else. I think, you know, utilities are in the business of serving customers, and we want to provide, you know, the service that customers want, reliability, clean energy, affordable rates, wherever we are. And sure, there's differences in different geographies. It may be more difficult here on Hawaii Island to provide, to make it affordable because the infrastructure, there's more infrastructure per capita because how people are spread out. But on the other hand, there's more prolific and diverse renewable energy resources on the Big Island than any other island in Hawaii. So that's also an opportunity. So we really like the Big Island. We think if there's any island that, well, all the islands are going to get to 100%. I'm hopeful and optimistic. But I think the Big Island ought to get there first. You're at 50% today, which is ahead of any other island, and you've got the resources, you know, the diversity of resources to go further. So we're excited about having the Big Island, about having HELCO as part of the Hawaiian Electric family. And I also think, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this some more, but there are benefits in having HELCO as part of the whole family.
Ms. Morita, you are former chair of the Public Utilities Commission, so you have a really good sense as to how they work. Could you explain to us what has to happen, more or less, what is the PUC process in analyzing the desire of NextEra to purchase Hawaiian Electric Industries? What has to happen for it to be approved? Does the PUC have only the option of accepting or rejecting? Can they suggest modifications? Give us a look inside how the PUC is probably operating relative to this issue. Please.
Actually, I think Jeff may be in a better position to ask that. I'm really good at delegating. But you know, right now, the applicants have filed their response, and so everyone is going through the response right now. The PUC is going out on a listening tour to the various islands, and can't even remember the date of the evidentiary hearing. November, December. And so, you know, they'll be gathering all that information, looking at the responses and coming to their decision, which they can accept as is the application, accept it with conditions, modify conditions, add new conditions, or reject. Let me see, did I miss anything else? I think that's about it.
Let's turn it over to Jeff Ono to add to that. By the way, the Public Utilities Commission will have meetings here on this island on the 29th of September at Hilo High at 6 o'clock, on the 30th of September at Kealakahe High at 6, and that's when they're going to ask for your input, and you also may give your input in writing, and I'll mention that at the end where you can do that. But Jeff Ono, do you want to add to what the PUC process is to approve, reject, or whatever this deal?
No, I think, Mina, well, I want to say thank you first, Sherry, and I want to thank Miles and Caillou for putting this program on, and I want to thank Richard Ha for inviting me here because, you know, when I first took my position in January 2011, Richard was one of the first people to come and visit me, and I knew next to nothing about energy, and you know, Richard's been part of my education in this position. The process is, as Mina explained, we're going to have an evidentiary hearing that begins on November 30th. It's going to be held at the Blaisdell in the conference rooms in the exhibition hall in that section, probably in a room maybe about this size, 60 by 60. It's going to be open to the public, but there are 30 parties involved in this process. So to what extent there's going to be actual room for the public is somewhat of an open question. We have until September 30th to exchange information requests. So that's going to close the discovery. As part of the process, I have requested to take the depositions. These are statements under oath of the CEOs, the respective CEOs of the companies, Jim Robo from NextEra and Constance Lau from HEI. And the applicants, NextEra and HECO, have filed memos in opposition to that, and it's going to be up to the Public Utilities Commission to decide whether I'm going to be allowed to proceed with those depositions. But I think there are a lot of people who are anxious to hear what both Connie Lau and Jim Robo have to say about this this acquisition. The scheduled date is November 30th to December 16th. It's not clear whether we're going to be completed by December 16th. Certainly my goal would be to try to get it done by then, because we do have 5 consultants who are from the mainland. We have 1 consultant who is from Maui. So every time we have to reconvene, it's going to be very costly to not only the consumer advocate, but to all of the interveners who have witnesses from out of state, even some with lawyers from out of state. I think that about covers it.